And we are back, and we're actually going to do something different. We're going to do a compare and contrast. We reviewed 10 Things I Hate About You with the kids, and for this, we wanted to kind of go back to the source material. So we're going to talk about two movies. We're going to talk about Kiss Me Kate from 1953 and also The Taming of the Shrew from 1967. Kiss Me Kate is directed by George Sidney with writing credits to Dorothy Kingsley, Sam Spowick, and Bella Spowick, and loosely based on Taming of the Shrew. It's actually more based on the musical version of Taming of the Shrew with, I guess, music by Cole Porter, which predominates this film. And then we also looked at Franco Zeffirelli's The Taming of the Shrew from 1967. That has writing credits to William Shakespeare, obviously, for the source material, but also to Paul Den, Suso Cecchi D'Amico, and Franco Zeffirelli for the screenplay. That one stars Elizabeth Taylor as Katharina and Richard Burton as Petruchio. You disliked both. Did you dislike one more than the other?
I disliked Kiss Me Kate far more than...
Because of all the music.
The music was brutal to sit
brutal,
through.
Yeah.
And just every single character was completely unlikable. I don't even remember the main characters' names. They were all terrible people. I remember Lois Lane. I remember Lois Lane because her name was Lois Lane.
Lois Lane was played by Ann Miller. Howard Keel played Fred.
Yeah.
And Tommy Rawl played Billy Calhoun, which was the guy that Lois Lane liked.
Oh, yeah. Well, he was a scumbag, too.
And Cole Porter was not played by Cole Porter. It was played by an actor named Ron Rendell.
Okay. Yeah, they were all horrible. Every character was just a horrible, horrible person, and I didn't want happiness for any of them. I feel like Olive in this moment. I just wish nothing but misfortune and
on everyone.
Yeah.
And their generations.
A plague upon them all.
Wow. Yeah. All right. I mean, I agree with you. It was the music in that was egregious. It was just too much.
There were certain parts where it was like almost relentless, like song after song after song.
Yeah. I would have liked more story. I mean, I thought the idea and the concept of like the play within a play was sort of interesting.
They could have had something more fun and interesting with that, but they ended up just, hey, let's just throw another musical number in there.
Right. I think my other big takeaway was that we were convinced that Howard Keel was the guy who sang "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch," but it was, what was his name? Thurl
Ravencroft.
Yes, that guy.
Yeah, well, they
sound so similar, though.
Good Lord, that the lead actor, his voice is just deeper than deep.
Yes.
And the way he looked, too, he seriously, I think I remarked that he looked like he should be on the side of a Tabasco bottle. He looked like Satan.
Yes. Have you ever seen Seven Brides for Seven Brothers?
I saw a fragment of it, and I asked, what is this about? And I was just like, oh, my God, they made a play about just abducting women.
So it's funny because Howard Keel, who plays Fred in Kiss Me Kate, he is the older brother.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. He was in a ton of musicals in the 40s and the 50s and stuff like that.
Does he like want to be typecast as like a spouse abuser?
No. I mean, I think those were just the roles that were happening. I mean, I feel like he really came into his own in like the 50s. So like Seven Brides for Seven Brothers was from 54. Annie Get Your Gun is 1950. Calamity Jane is 53. Showboat was a big one. That's 51. So yeah, so he did a lot of stuff. Man. Like I think he was super popular within that time frame. I think Turner just played Jupiter's Darling the other day, and I think they might have played Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. I think I caught the tail end of it. And then I forced you to watch Kiss Me Kate. So we're coming back to the reason why we're sitting here. Mm-hmm. So I totally understand that you hated it. Could anything have saved that film?
Far less singing. And just making things more relevant to the story. Mm-hmm. Honestly, there was like maybe a half hour's worth of story in here.
Yeah, maybe.
And then the rest of it was just singing and random asides. There's like this random subplot about Lois Lane's scumbag boyfriend signing the lead actor's name to his IOU to the mob.
Yeah.
And then you get like the two, wisecracking Brooklyn gangsters coming about to collect the money, and somehow they become endearing members of the cast, and everybody's laughing, and they're there to beat people. and then the scumbag guy gets away with it. The lead actor decides, oh yeah, I'm going to go along with this because I think I could use these two gangsters to scare the lead actress into remaining in the play for the rest of the play, which is just terrible in its own right. And the whole Lois Lane character, she was pretending to be in a relationship with the lead actor, but was actually in a relationship with
Bill Calhoun.
Who
she always
scumbag
said
Bill Calhoun.
She always said his first and last name together, didn't she?
Yeah.
Didn't we watch something else where Bob Merrick?
Yes.
And we were like, is that a thing? Like, people just say,
"What are we going to dinner, you bitch?"
I bet you enjoyed that more than
my God, that was so much better. There wasn't a single song in that entire movie.
Yes. Which I know you appreciated.
But yeah, Lois Lane, she's really with this other guy, and then the main actress is sort of like pissed off at the fact that she's had an unpleasant divorce from Fred, and now what? Because he sang a song, she's like, ooh, maybe we can make it work.
And she's engaged to the Texan, right?
Yeah, she's engaged to another guy. They have like a sort of spat in the middle of the play where he like literally puts her over his knee and spanks her butt raw to the point in front of the entire audience who were howling with laughter.
Right, because that's funny, abusing a woman.
Yeah, and then she's like, "Oh, I need an ice pack for my rear end because it's so bruised." It was just a terrible, terrible movie, and the songs were. Nothing was interesting. I remember that one song that Lois Lane sings.
Too darn hot.
No, the one where like there's literally a chorus where she just goes dick, 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 dick.
Yes.
She's just like, I need dick, dick, dick.
Yes. Tom, Dick, and Harry.
It was this. Like, what the hell is going on?
I mean, I feel like that went right under the censors. I mean, I feel like. I should have gotten flagged.
Somebody on the censor was probably like, "What are you trying to get away with?" And they're like, "No, it's a legitimate name.
Yes,
it's short for Richard."
Yes, exactly. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so I saw this many, many years ago, and I gotta be honest, I didn't really remember it much. It's kind of funny because there was a point when I was a young girl, probably, I don't know, 5th grade to maybe 10th grade, like in that time frame, where I really, really, really enjoyed musicals. And so I would try to watch one with whatever chance I could get. And it's funny because later on in life, I would rewatch some of these musicals and I'd be like, what were we thinking? Like, I think a classic example is like the Xanadu story, where it lived in nostalgia in such a endearing part of nostalgia that when I asked you to buy it for me, I don't know if it was like Mother's Day or a birthday, and then I watched it and I was like, oh, this is terrible.
I don't understand how you ever thought that was good.
I mean,
I was
prior to
me buying it.
That came out in the 70s.
Prior to me buying that for you, I just saw like little clips of it, and I was just like, wow, this is just embarrassing to even look at.
I think I forced you to watch it with me, didn't I?
No, I've never seen Xanadu. I've only seen scenes.
I made you watch it with me.
No, I think one of the prerequisites of me buying it for you was that you never let me see it. So that, and there was something else too that I bought you that I was like, I never want to watch this with you. Okay. But honestly, I think you've made me watch it. I think it was that Sooner or Later movie.
Maybe. Well, that was fun. I bet you had more fun with that than this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This was hard to sit through. I stayed awake throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
But it was just bad. I mean, granted, I'm not a musical fan, but I've watched plenty of musicals where I was like, You know what? That was a damn good movie. Singing in the Rain. Great. I love Singing in the Rain. I think it's great, except for that Broadway melody or whatever. That thing has no place in the movie. They should just axe that entire scene. But the rest of it is brilliant, and the songs are like in the right spots. They fit with everything. They're not there for the sake of being there. And it's a solid story from beginning to end. This, it really felt like maybe it could have been an episode of I Love Lucy if they just erased all of the song and dance and just kept that off camera.
Or just kept one song for the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I think so. We watched it on CCM, and I think the other thing that I didn't know was that this was originally a 3D movie.
Yeah. We
and
found
there
that
were
out.
parts of it where you could see like, oh, okay, I guess this was the 3D
Yeah, they're just throwing stuff at the camera and shoving their bodies out at the camera.
So in a quick Google search, apparently the budget on this was $1.5 million, which I believe is a lot for 1953. But it's Technicolor. You've got all these costumes. You've got these big name celebrities and stuff. So I sort of understand it. I think it was like a moderate, I don't know what that means, like a moderate success. They made their money back, but I don't feel like this is a musical that a lot of people talk about. I mean, I think that they talk about Katherine Grayson as an actress and a singer. They talk about Howard Keel as an actor and a singer. But I don't feel like this particular film is ever brought up. Like when we talk about musicals, we talk about Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, or to your point, Singing in the Rain, maybe even White Christmas, something like that, American in Paris. I think more those types of films, or even older, like Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers, like those types of films.
Well, I think this also had the issue that the story was just muddy because it's a play about putting on a play, and it's got that title Kiss Me Kate, which is clearly a reference to the Taming of the Shrew. But the Taming of the Shrew, it's not really an adaptation of it at all.
No.
I mean, aside from what you see in the play, but as far as what's going on in the lives of these characters, probably the closest correlation you could make is that, Fred and Lily have a very tempestuous relationship, but they've already been married. It's not like as though Lily is just this raging bitch. She's a regular person. There's nobody is like bizarrely maladjusted in this movie. There are stupid characters, but it really doesn't have anything to do with Taming of the Shrew. And they dedicate a lot of time to the stage play where they fit in a lot of the songs. And like, in my mind, if you're going to make a musical about Taming of the Shrew, make a freaking musical about Taming of the Shrew. I don't want to know about Fred and Lily's tumultuous broken marriage. I don't want to know about Lois Lane and her deadbeat boyfriend. I don't want to know about Screwy and Louie or whatever the hell those two gangsters' names were. And then at the end, they're just like, our boss just got murdered. You're off the hook.
Yes. Yes. It was nice knowing you.
That was it.
This is, according to IMDb, this is tagged as romantic comedy, screwball comedy, musical romance. It's definitely musical heavy. I guess it's a romance, although kind of to your point, it didn't feel earned. I mean, I get that they have like a history, but from where it starts to where it ends, like I'm still scratching my head. Like, why did she go back to him?
That's the thing I don't get.
She left. She was done with him. She was done with being an actress, and all of a sudden she has a change of heart midway and comes back. Like it was really bizarre.
That was the thing. It was like straight from the beginning, it made her look like a moron because it's like she's sort of like begrudgingly coming in to do like the audition, or not really an audition, but practice the songs because Fred thinks she'll be great for the part. And then she's like, I'm not interested. But then she gets interested when it turns out that he's dating this other woman. And then they're singing that song, and suddenly it's like she's looking at him all moon-eyed. And it's like, is that all it takes? The fact that they disliked each other so much they got divorced. And then suddenly she's just like, he sang a song, and it was a romantic song.
Yeah.
I guess I could forgive him. What?
Yeah.
Were you in a car accident? Did you bang your head really hard? What is wrong with you?
Yeah. Well, obviously, Kiss Me Kate came out before Zeffirelli's Taming of the Shrew. So Kiss Me Kate is also based off a musical by Cole Porter, who was super popular. And I guess they wanted
Is
to
the musical just a straight up musical of Taming of the Shrew?
It must be. I've never seen it. I don't know, but I'm assuming it's the same premise of a story with like a play within a play, and it's definitely more musical heavy.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is that. And I mean, it lives in that universe, and it would be interesting. I think, as like a storytelling mechanism, again, that whole framing of a play within a play. But I agree with you. I think it's too musical heavy. I think they should have maybe trimmed down some of that, maybe streamlined it, maybe not put in all of that stuff in the beginning, and just start with opening night and maybe like the shenanigans in the back.
Just show like how everything's going wrong, and there's all this other stuff happening in the background.
And Lily and Fred could fight, and you could sort of get that tension. I don't think you need that much backstory. I mean, you could throw in a couple of things here and there, but I think I agree with you. I think that it takes a long time to get to where it needs to go, and I can't imagine a modern audience watching this. Like, I'm glad I didn't force the kids to watch this, because I'm sure they would have looked at me like, what are you on right now?
I mean, they sat when we saw Zeffirelli's thing,
and they were
just
horrified.
Disgusted by it.
Well, okay, so do you want to talk about Zeffirelli now?
All right, yeah, we can talk about that one.
So again, I wanted to try something different, and I wanted to do a compare and contrast. So let's talk about Zeffirelli's, and then we can maybe do like a mini deep dive. We watched it on Turner Classic Movies, The Taming of the Shrew from 1967, again directed by Franco Zeffirelli, with writing credits to William Shakespeare for the original play, Paul Den Suso Cecchi di Amico, and also Franco Zeffirelli. This one stars Elizabeth Taylor as Kate and Richard Burton as Petruchio. And a little bit of trivia before we start. Apparently, they invested $1 million each and did not take a salary, but took, I guess, points off the film. And the film wound up doing really, really well.
Well, I mean, they were the level of actor that can get away with that sort of thing.
Yes, absolutely. This is after Cleopatra and all of that. In 1967, they're all over the place in the news and stuff. They have their tempestuous relationship.
Wasn't what they said, like their asking price for films back then was like $2 million each or something?
Something like that, or $1 million each, yeah. So they forwent their salary and actually invested in this production.
No, but what I'm saying is like they were like high level active. If you're making $1 million a picture or more than $1 million a picture, yeah, you got some clout.
Yes, for sure. So of the two, you would rather watch this one again?
I don't want to watch either one again ever, but if I had to, I would watch this one.
Okay. What made this watch better than Kiss Me Kate?
The absence of music, singing and dancing. Yeah. I mean, like I said, my issue with Kiss Me Kate was that it was just muddy. It was like, all right, if you're going to do a musical about Taming of the Shrew, make a musical about Taming of the Shrew. If you're going to make a musical about a play within a movie, do that. Don't try and do both, because then you just end up with two crappy things, which is what Kiss Me Kate was. Two crappy things melded together into one giant ball of shit.
Yeah.
It was just the play. It was literally actors with Shakespearean dialogue running around sets in crazy outfits. Yeah. And it was just the Taming of the Shrew.
Yeah.
Also, mark against it, I don't really like the Taming of the Shrew.
In modern day, in the year of our Lord 2025, it is kind of a strange story, because do you want to give like a cliff noted version of what the story is?
Basically,
Kate is the willful daughter.
There's a guy. He's got two daughters. There's Kate, the older daughter, who is very willful. No man could tame her. She's just like running around smashing stuff.
She's like a wild animal.
She is very spirited. She doesn't want to get married. She's not interested in any man. And then there's Bianca, who is lovely and sweet, and all these dudes are just like, oh my God, Bianca. And the thing is, the father's like, hey, nobody could marry Bianca until Kate gets married. So he's like really desperate to marry Bianca, so he figures out, okay, I found a dude that could marry Kate, and he just wants money, basically.
Petruchio,
Petruchio, played by
Burton.
Richard Burton, and he just shows up, and he is just like, father, instantly.
Is drunk from frame one.
Right. I'm sure he was method acting too. And he's basically just tells the dad, he's like, hey, I'll marry her. You just got to give me money. The father's like, awesome, because he is just.
I mean, he's afraid of Kate.
He's terrified of his daughter. Exactly. Yeah. And what happens is he basically manhandles her, cajoles her, basically says, well, we're getting married on Sunday. And she's running away from him. He's chasing her. And then basically at the wedding, he doesn't even let her say, I do. He just like, as soon as she opens her mouth, he just kisses her. So everybody's like, all right, you're man and wife. Hooray. And he just drags her off. And then over time, not even over time. What was it, like a day or something?
Something like that. Yeah.
She just basically does what he says. Initially, it seems like, oh, she's just playing along with him. He'll tell her, oh, it's nighttime and it's daytime. And she's like, okay, yeah, it's nighttime. Or, oh, look at this lovely lady. And it's like an old man. And she's like, oh, lady, you're so fair. And it's like, what are you talking about? He's an old man. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I thought it was, you are an old man. So she's basically just going along with him. And then they go to the younger sister's wedding. And all the women excuse themselves, and the men decide to have like a little wager, seeing whose wife is the most obedient. So they all tell their servants, oh, go fetch my wife. And the first one doesn't show up. Go fetch my wife. And the second one doesn't show up. And Richard Burton is like, go fetch my wife. And not only does she show up, she's dragging the other two behind her. And she gives this huge speech about how men are toiling in sea and soil, and we're all soft and whatnot. So we owe them our obedience. And that's basically it. And usually with like romances, I mean, I have said this a million times. I want the romance to be earned. I've seen plenty of like enemies to lovers type storylines where they start out bickering, and then over time something happens, and then there's a look and a glance and some sort of situation arises, and you're like, you know what, I'm rooting for these two now. Yeah. And I hope they get together, and then some drama comes with possibly splits them up, and then they get back together. It's a classic formula. It freaking works. This doesn't use that formula at all. It's basically just, I'm just going to torment this lady until she agrees that, yeah, she's going to be my loyal and obedient wife. Yeah. And then she says as much at the end. And some people say, oh, well, she gave a little glance. You know, maybe there is some spirit left in her.
I don't know.
We're not seeing that. We're not seeing that in this thing. So I don't know if that was something in the original play. Probably not. It's just a terrible story. It's a terrible story.
Why do you think 10 Things I Hate About You works?
Because he's not like beating her down. They do exactly what I just described. He goes out. He literally tries to woo her. Initially, he's doing it for money, but then it's not. Right. It's just sort of like, you know what? I think I kind of really do like this girl. And he proves it. And then there's the drama where they sort of like split up for a little bit, and then they get back together. But you feel like that romance is earned. You're honestly rooting for Heath Ledger and Julia Stiles to get together.
Pat and Kate. Pat Padua, right?
Yeah, which works. It works. Yeah. It works. This, it's just sort of, I don't know. It's basically just, I feel like I watched a fraction of a story that was dragged out for a really long time, and it's not satisfying at all. I am not happy or amazed that, oh, wow, they're together now. It's just sort of like, okay, right. She's feigning obedience. Yeah. Or she is obedient.
Right. Back to Zeffirelli's Taming of the Shrew. I appreciated like the attention to detail, the costuming, the cinematography. It all felt very much rooted in that time whenever that time was. And so I also felt like, as much as I love Technicolor, the Technicolor of Kiss Me Kate, because it makes everything look like candy, I think I appreciated Zeffirelli's Taming of the Shrew more because it stayed 90% close to the source material. I mean, they're speaking in like Shakespeare speech, right? And you're seeing the story unfold how Shakespeare would have wanted it to. I mean, I think there are some edits. I haven't read the play, so I can't know for sure, but I feel like it's probably a more truer adaptation of that particular Shakespeare play. And so I think I agree with you. I think if I had to choose between the two, I think I would rather see Taming of the Shrew again, because at least where it was funny and it didn't drag and there's a lot going on. However, you can still follow it, and I think the performances are decent. I think I loved the Kate character up until that ending where she basically acquiesces to the husband. But up until that point, I felt like she was kind of an interesting character. She literally stresses everyone the hell out. Like everyone. She's like beating on her sister. She's emasculating her dad. I mean, it's just mayhem. I mean, like even the house servants are just terrified of her.
Yeah.
And then you're introduced to Petruchio, the Richard Burton character, and he is just a ne'er-do-well drunk who's basically run out of money. But it's interesting because when he takes Kate to his house, I don't know if those were family members or servants, but there's a lot of people that are dependent on him. And he comes with the dowry, I guess, and brings back a little bit of income into the household. But there's a ton of people in that house. And so at the end, he doesn't look like a clown anymore. He looks like a distinguished gentleman of the time. He's wearing the brocade outfit with the tights or whatever, and he's cleaned up. I mean, before he looked like a clown. I mean, his clothes were like ridiculous, and he was just constantly drunk. And so he kind of has an interesting arch too, because I feel like in that, at least, and again, this is my interpretation, right? But I felt like Richard Burton played it so that he's a cad, but then he also in time grows to appreciate and like Kate, because he then acquiesces to certain things. I mean, initially he's just taken away things from her. Like you mentioned before, he's like, oh no, that's black. And she'd be like, okay. And he's like, no, it's white. You know, like he'd just be gaslighting her. And then there was a point where, I don't know if he felt bad or he wanted to please her now. So he would do things, but then he would do something nice. So his character progression was sort of interesting, and hers was interesting too, because she's a different person at the end of that film, but you don't see her evolution at all.
No, it's just sort of like a switch flipped.
Yes, it was like one day she's this way and the other day she's not. And it was almost like maybe she's bipolar. I don't know, but she's not the same person that she was at the start of the story. And I got to give it to the kids because I agree with them. It was like the messaging was horrible. And I mean, obviously in Shakespeare's time, again, women are just property. They don't really have a voice or much of a say in their own destinies. But for a modern audience, you would obviously want that to play very, very differently. I think Zeffirelli was trying very hard to stay true to the source material. He definitely has an affinity for the bard. I mean, he does like a beautiful version of Romeo and Juliet. I know it's not your favorite film or your favorite story, but it's definitely one of the best versions of that particular story. And then he also does Hamlet in the 90s with Mel Gibson. So he definitely has an appreciation for it. And for the most part, I feel like he's true to the source material. There may be some edits. Obviously, you have to pare down, but it doesn't take away from the story itself. I think I know what your answer is going to be, but I'll ask it anyway. Of the three films, what would be your favorite?
Oh, 10 Things I Hate About You is an actually enjoyable, good movie.
Yeah. Kiss Me Kate, 1 to 10, what would you give it?
I would give it a 3.
The Taming of the Shrew with Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor, 1 to 10, what would you give it?
I would give that one probably a 4.
Oh, interesting. I would give Kiss Me Kate a 4, and I would give Zeffirelli's Taming of the Shrew a 5, I think. I enjoyed it. I mean, I remember seeing it as a young person and enjoying it. I enjoyed it in this watch. It was pretty much what I expected. I hadn't remembered it, but it was basically what I thought it would be. Kiss Me Kate, I'd seen bits and pieces of. I'd never seen it from start to finish. It felt longer than it was. I feel like the Zeffirelli movie moved a lot quicker. So
yeah.
There was that, so I'll give it an extra point for that. But I agree. I think not the best Shakespeare story, and definitely not for a modern audience. I think if you're going to redo this, study 10 Things I Hate About You, because that takes the play and the story of Taming of the Shrew and really owns it, but does it in its own unique current way.
Yeah, it updated it for the times, and it kept the core elements of the story, but it jettisoned all the crap and just made it entertaining.
Yes, I agree. Okay, so that was kind of interesting. We've never done something like that before, but yeah, comparing and contrasting. Maybe not the best source material, Taming of the Shrew, but if you are going to invest time to watch it, we definitely recommend 10 Things I Hate About You. I think we can safely say skip Kiss Me Kate. And if you want to watch Zeffirelli, I think the other thing about Zeffirelli is he does make a pretty movie, and he does have an eye for detail. Like this, the costuming and the set pieces on that were really great. So if you're a film student, I recommend it, but I wouldn't go out of my way to see it, I guess is my final word.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And again, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we will join you all again soon for another review. And with that, we'll bid you all a
good night.
Good night.